guys, today I thought I would talk about how I clean my makeup brushes. There's nothing nicer than a nice clean makeup brush and nothing worse than having to clean them, so I thought I'd show you how I make this process a little less painless. I like to use the Dr. Bronner's Magic Soap, but you can use something like baby soap or whatever you have lying around. And I also like to use, for the more troublesome brushes, olive oil. Again, nice and cheap in anybody's kitchen, and I find it works just like a cleansing oil and really breaks that makeup down, so I think it's a really great thing to use. I like to make sure that I've got all my brushes up together before I start, so I check my makeup bag or any sets that I've got just to make sure I've got everything, because it's just really annoying if you miss a couple. I also like to make sure I've got a nice spot for my brushes to dry, so I've chosen by a window, in my bathroom, on a towel, simple and easy. And yeah, this is what everything looks like. Just before I start, I use my biggest sink just because it's nicer to use. Okay, so this is me washing my foundation brush. I first of all start with the oil on this one. This is a Zoeva Silk Finish brush, I believe, which I use to buff in foundation. So I like to use a buffing motion whilst I'm working the cleaning products in, because that's where you've worked in your makeup. And oh, look at that, that's disgusting, isn't it? But yeah, so I then just rinse it all out. When I do use oil, I do follow it up with the Magic Soap because I want to clean out the remaining oil. But I also make sure that I do it at an angle, because I don't want the water to go down into the brush, because that will unset the glue. So I don't want to break my brush, I just want to clean it. So here I am, I've zoomed a bit out now. Here I am buffing in the soap. Oh yeah, sudsy. And yeah, make sure you work. I like to actually use a similar motion for all brushes, but particularly ones where I'm buffing in product, I like to buff it in, because you can always find makeup right in the centre of the brush and you think it's clean, but it's not. What I sort of do is I sort of press out the excess water, and I always make sure I'm paying attention to the colour of the water. So when it runs clear, it's clean, but if it obviously skin colour is still coming out, it is not clean. So yeah, just keep on going, keep on squeezing. This brush was not ready for its close-up, so the reason I like to use mild shampoos is if I need to double rinse, like with this brush I do, it's not a problem, it's not going to damage the bristles, and yeah, just do the same process all over again. After I have washed it, I like to sort of do the same motion again on the towel, and then I like to lie them flat, so again I don't damage the brush. Here we have a nice blusher brush here. It's not always necessary to rinse it beforehand with the Magic Soap, but I find with the particularly bigger brushes it helps because it's just easier to distribute it, to be honest with you. But yeah, again, the same buffing motion, making sure I'm working the product into the brush, and again it's just a similar motion with this one. I find I tend to use the oil for cream products or brushes I've used cream products with, and the powder ones I don't find need it, but there have been exceptions to the rule, eat both ways. But yeah, just a nice little rinse, and just checking the colour of the water, making sure that the brush is always at an angle, because yeah, I don't want to damage the brush. I also find vegan brushes are a lot easier to clean, which the Real Tech brushes are. But yeah, again, same motion on the towel. You can use this to sort of reshape the brush as well, and then just lie it flat. I always do find that you need to pay attention to the shape of the brush. This brush here is a Zoeva one, I don't know which one it is, and I find, because this one's extremely tapered, you need to wash around the sides as well, because otherwise just doing the buffing motion won't clean it completely. And now moving on to eye brushes. With eye brushes you need the tiniest amount of soap, but if you happen to put too much in your hand you can suds up several at the same time and then rinse them out again. That's not a problem. The reason I find you don't need that much soap is A, you'll just be spending loads of time rinsing it back out, but also because the bristles are that much shorter, I find that it can just damage the brush easier and the soap can get up and into the brush. I've got a little tip though, if you think you haven't rinsed all the soap out. When you're buffing it out onto the towel, listen out for any sort of soapy sounds, and if you hear the soap and then sort of wring the brushes out like I have been doing, you can see that the soap's, you've sort of lathered it, and then you just need to continue rinsing. And here we have it, some nice clean brushes. I like to clean my brushes right after I've done my makeup because I won't need them again for a while. And also after I finish cleaning my brushes, I like to pop some hand cream on, because you need to show your hands in TLC as well as your brushes, and I find keeping your hands in the water for that long can, you know, really dry them out, so I think this is a good step to add in. After leaving my brushes to dry, I like to just double check that they are indeed bone dry and also give them a little reshape. Sometimes I find the way that they dry, they look a little bit frayed and worse for wear, but honestly just a quick reshape and they look as good as new. So yep, just a little buff, a little reshape, Bob's your uncle, good as new. So there you have it, that's how I clean my brushes. They're all nice and clean and ready to use, and until next time, I shall see you soon. Bye! This little guy, look at him! I've named him Huesos.